Good evening. This day is December 17th, 2021. This is recording number 169, entitled Journey to Light. Journey to Light. We're on a journey. And the journey is to understanding. And everyone knows that to get something to work the way we want it to work, you need to understand the process. You need to understand the process from beginning to end. And even if something kind of quivers or snakes a little sideways as you're going through the steps, you have the understanding to correct that movement, which is going to take you to light. And the light is I understood it before I started, and I know what it's going to look like when I get to the end. So everything we do, whether it's something that we have started when we were a young child and mastered or something that we're learning today, everything you do is still that journey to understanding. Now, once you get something understood, you can kind of manipulate it or, tweak it here, tweak it there, see what happens to see if you can better the steps. But the last thing you want to do is try to change something when you actually want to have a full product. You don't want to change it in the middle to see what will happen. You do the seeing what will happen in practice. But when you're doing the actual process, you're going to do the steps the way they should be. So God has us on a journey to light. And I'm going to throw this in just as a maybe a motivational. One of the GOP senators was recorded the other day as he was mad at one of his Republican constituents or congressmen who voted for the impeachment. And he said, we didn't send him to Washington to do the right thing. We sent him there to represent us. Now, my thoughts on that is just simple. Now that you know that they're not there to do the right thing, are you going to actually get committed? Here's my point. Committed to the journey to light. Because now you know that it matters not who you vote for or what your opinion is or right and wrong or what the Constitution of the United States is. Jesus Christ has told us, I placed you on a journey to light. And the light is the understanding of the creative process that made all things. Regardless of what is being said and done, he's saying if you get on this journey and you perfect each step along the way, you will not have to be concerned about those who decide that they're not going to follow this process. You also find out that now that you are learning the truth, you know that they do not know the truth, and should you stand before them and profess the truth, the actual truth in front of them, they would slay you. That's the type of power and that's the type of process that the world has. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to ugly up the world enough for you to force you to say, I'm going to commit myself to this journey to understanding God. Because Jesus Christ said that this is the only thing that is going to free me from the uglies of this world. He asked nicely, come out from among them. We won't do it. He asked nicely to don't be unequally yoked. We won't do it. He asked nicely for us to put away the things that cause us to have happiness and harmonies in this world, thinking that we're going to have it. We won't do it. He says the only thing that's going to give you happiness is to understand the creative power process force that you call God. He said, once you do that, you will have completed your journey. We find him as he has risen, and Mary Magdalene comes, and she thinks he's the gardener, and she says, what have you done with my Lord? And during the course of the conversation, he finally identifies himself, and she goes to hug him. And he says, touch me not, for I have not yet offended. Now, your mind, as my mind, when you first hear that, automatically assumes I have not floated off into the others to be with God, because we know that's how the thing ends. But he said, I have not yet ascended, meaning he had not been able to give up the things of this world, the things that control us. He said, because if you touch me, you might make me want to stay a little while. I need to ascend. I need to get to the fullness of this journey. Then I can talk to you. Because if you notice, some 8 days later or so, he shows up to the disciples, and he's saying, hey, I got it done. Give me some of that food y'all got over there. Touch my body. He is no longer affected by the things of this world. Psalm 27:4 says, one thing have I desired of the Lord. I was just asked a little earlier, what is prayer? One thing have I desired of the Lord. Now, you stop and think about all the things that you have desired of the Lord throughout your life. And here is David saying, only one thing. There's only one thing I desire of the Lord. That will I seek after. I'm going to pour my whole self into this. If David was here in 2021, he would see what went on in Washington over the last 3 months, and David would go, oh, my God, I need to get as far away from that as I can instead of wait till 2022, wait till 2024. No, David is saying, one thing will I seek. One thing will I desire, and that will I seek after, that I might dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord and to inquire in his temple. You want to know what prayer is? You just heard it. One thing will I desire, that I would dwell in the house of the Lord. Let's look at Psalm 91, for instance. People love that scripture. He who dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. But they trip over one word, or they skip over it. He who dwells. Dwells. Are you dwelling? Are you dwelling in the secret place of the Most High? Are you seeking the beauty of the Lord? Because, see, it's only the person who dwells in the secret place of the Most High abiding under the shadow of the Almighty. The church will quote that scripture till they're blue in the face, or till, they're lathered and shining and got sweat rolling all up, and nothing happens. Why? Because right after they quote the scripture, they come right back to the world of Caesar. They come back to the world of right and wrong, and he didn't say that. He said, get as far away from that world as you can. Seek my face. Seek that you would know me. And if you feel that you don't know me, then seek to behold my beauty. You want to know what to pray for? Pray for the things that would cause you or cause me to understand God. Jesus said to know him aright is life everlasting. To know him aright? Well, what then do we do? Ask ourselves one question. Do I know him aright? And be honest. If you don't, say, no, I don't. But just like the day when I was going to throw my trash away, I ran into a guy, another Christian, I've noticed in the past that he kind of resents the way that I approach God as the way he approaches God. And I just walked by him and I said, hey, man, how you doing? Oh, I'm blessed and highly favored and all things are working good for me. I said, great, man, have a nice day, and kept right on walking. You see, Christians, we are not out here supposed to be knocking heads with each other to show that you know God better than I or I know God better. No. But we should be seeking him with all of our heart. Seeking God, not seeking to show people who we are, seeking to know God that we might walk in peace. The temple of God. What is the temple of God? Well, that's something to pray for. Father, what is your temple? I know the scriptures say that I am the temple, but I don't feel like it. Bang, be honest. If you don't feel like you're the temple of God, then what would be the prayer? Help me to believe that I am the temple. Show me that I am the temple. You know, when God gives an impartation, and I mean a true impartation, he actually says something or does something that you notice it, you need to know that that came from within you. Because you are the temple. It came from within. It didn't come from outside you. It came from within you. Son, thou art ever with me. So how far away is God to say something to me for it to get to me? Right there. A place where only I can go. A place where only I can go. You know, I said to you a little bit earlier last week that I don't tell stories much now of what I know God has done, because people are kind of put off by those stories that you're kind of making yourself to be something. Just happened to be listening to a tape of Joel Goldsmith this morning, and guess what he said? You know, in this Infinite Way program that I have, we don't do much about telling stories because it kind of affects people differently. And I went, wow, yeah. You see, I used to tell the stories way back in the day because I was trying to impress people to come into the ministry and come into my ministry. But when I noticed that it didn't work, and then you get some scuttlebutt later because they would never come to you and tell you they didn't believe it. They would tell somebody else, and that person would finally make their way back to you and say, you know, they think you're crazy or whatever. So the secret place, the temple of God, one thing will I desire, that I might seek after your glory. Work. It's the only place I can go, and nobody knows that I'm there. A place that is not seeable by the temporal eye or the physical eye. A place that is not describable. I can't tell you what the secret place of the Most High. Even if I tried, there would not be words that I could use, but I can only come away with a peace about me that lets me know that I've been there. And how will I know that? By the things that are happening before me, and they're not having any effect on me. Did you get that? Or if they are having an effect on me, I have the understanding to disavow them internally. I don't have to look at you and say, no, that's not true. Why would I want to start an argument with you? The other day, someone asked me to pray for them, and I said, well, if you can believe that I have this power, and I thought about it, and I said, I better add this, with God, through God, to do this, then it's done for you. And the person said, I just want to thank you for the words of encouragement, and I want to thank you that maybe, they don't hear you. They don't hear you. I'm standing there saying, I have the ability to help you right now. It's done. I have the ability to do this, and they would tell you, oh, you're a nice person, and you are this. And I thought about Jesus at the well when that lady said, we know Messiah coming. And he said, I am he that speaketh with you. And she was able to accept it. She was able to accept his explanation. And that's what I'm saying. You heard me over the past week. I tell you, once you start understanding who you are, you need to start walking in that identity. You're not waiting on something to come out the sky and say, now you can walk in it. No, because it's telling you. You have to desire to do the works of God. What must we do to do the works of God? That's what he asked. He says, what? Sell all you have, give to the poor, and come and follow me. Now, what did that picture paint? It painted the guy having nothing and following Jesus in a ragtag band of 12 people. No, I don't want to do that. But that's not what Jesus was saying. Jesus was saying sell all means stop living the life that you're living. Stop living it the way you're living. Start giving the lessons that I'm going to give you. Start giving it to the people who don't have this understanding. Follow me. He was going to make that man the richest man on the planet, but all the young ruler could see was what? Giving up everything that made him who he thought he was. You see, our journey is not to become so adept at describing or teaching about God, but to have God reveal himself to us individually. Yes, I made that mistake. See, I'm honest with myself now. I've done these things. Back in the day, I wanted to be a teacher of teachers. Back in the day, I wanted to be a preacher of preachers. Back in the day, I wanted to do all this stuff to have people coming to me. So I'm going to learn the things that they have not learned. And I realized that sometimes when I revealed those things which were true, they were looking at me like the deer in the headlight. What is he talking about? Why? Because they were so used to hearing the same things over and over and over. When you introduce something new to them, they couldn't hear it. But guess what? Guess what happens when God introduces something that appears new to you? It changes you. It causes you to understand that there's something going on beyond what I'm looking at, what I'm smelling, tasting, touching, and hearing. There's something going on. God is revealing himself to me. We must come to know that salvation is of God, from God to us individually. Now you see your journey to life? You can't take anybody with you. You can tell them everything you want. I had a friend the other night was sharing. He was playing one of my CDs in front of his girlfriend, and she was intently listening. And I said something on the CD, and it caught his attention. He said, "Did you hear that?" She said, "Yeah, I heard that." He said, "Well, if God told us that we do not have to fight anything, that the battle was his, then why are we fighting? Why are we putting up resistance to anything if he told us we didn't have to?" He said she looked at him like the deer in the headlight, and he could tell she had no answer. He said she suddenly turned away, looked at the wall, and then turned back and looked at him and said, "But we fight against principalities." See, she had to hold on to something because her pastor had told her, "You got to fight, you got to fight." And she remembered him saying principalities. But if there are principalities, who made them? Hello. If God made them, then he said they were all good and they're bad, we have to fight against them, then why are we serving this God? You within your own home, within your own rights, within your own authority in your house, when somebody comes in there and they don't do something according to the way you run your household, you put a stop to it, don't you? Why won't we as Christians do that? Why won't we realize that our prayers are basically a begging, okay, are basically a roulette wheel that we circle and throw the hope that it, and yet we're going to constantly talk about how blessed, highly favored we are. And somebody walks in and says, God always hears me. And when you get mad, they get mad. God, isn't that what Jesus said? Father, you always hear me. How could he make a statement like that? Because he was on a journey to light and he was not being deterred by the things that are going on around him. If you let the things around you, and I know it's hard, don't let me stand up here and tell you it's easy. But if you know that you can't do anything, I remember in my younger days, people would get sick or down or whatnot, and I did not show this I gotta go sit by the bedside. And people would get mad at me and say, why aren't you sitting by the bedside? And I would look at them and say, what am I gonna do? I done prayed. The prayer did not get them up. Sitting here by the bedside, oh, well, it just gives them peace to open their eyes and see you sitting there. Yeah, but what is that doing for them? I want to be able to effectively pray for somebody and know. I want to be able to, hey, Rev, will you pray for me? Got you. I'm going fishing. Hello? That's prayer. When you are able to say, yeah, I'll give you help, and go on over. I'm going to go over here and dig a hole. I'm going to go over here and do this. Because you're not showing concern. Now, sitting around and hoping and wondering and worrying whether the person's going to get better, how is that helping the person? It's not. Who can make God known but God? Who can make God known but God? In practical terms, when you were dating, who could make you know that person the way you wanted to know that person but that person? His friends or his enemies could tell you, or her friends and her enemies could tell you anything they wanted, but it did not make you know them, did it? You had to get to know them for yourself. So who can make God known unto you except God? The light or understanding of God will cause a rest, freeing one from the negative allures of destruction. So what is my purpose to get to know God? To rest. Just for a second, you saw it, didn't you? You saw what it would be like to rest in this world. To know that you can wake up in the morning, get up and go about your business, go through your day, and go to bed knowing that rest. Resting knowing that I know God aright. I don't care that they raise taxes. I don't care that they do this, that they do that. If you know God aright. And that reminds me of the story in the Bible where it says, when the Chaldeans come, the Babylonians come to take you prisoner, don't fight them. Go with them. This is God. Go with them. Become their captives. Become their servants. And I will be with you, and I will prosper you in captivity. What is he asking in return? He's asking for you to keep your mind stayed on him the whole time you're in captivity, and he will prosper you. But I do give a caution to those of you who will not go with them and who will resist them. You will be strewn in the wilderness. Well, we know, if you go read the story, King didn't do it. He decided he's going to fight. And guess where he was found? Killed. And the ones that went with the Babylonians, guess where they were found? Prospering in captivity. You see, a lot of times a man wants to be able to say, you ain't going to hold me no captive. But guess what? A man who knows God, is he captive? No. It matters not. They took Peter and put him in jail. After they had killed James the Less. They had killed James the Less, captured Peter, put him in prison with 16 guards, and told him, we're going to execute you tomorrow. Was Peter held captive in the physical? Yes. Was he held captive in the temple? No. And long in the middle of the night, an angel comes in and the door flies open and the shackles fall off and rise Peter. Peter gets up and Peter thinks he's dreaming till he ends up in the outer. How many guards did he pass on the way out? 16. He finds himself out in the middle of the courtyard and he realizes what? Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Why? Because he's on a journey to light. And we've all been called on this journey. Don't you dare think that God got special ones out here that he's calling and he's choosing. It's like I told somebody the other day, when the cranberry people decide to make cranberry juice, they reap cranberries. They harvest the cranberries. But they have something as those cranberries that comes out that will show the rotten ones. See, many are called, but the best cranberries are chosen. If you keep your nose to the grindstone, you will be chosen. See, the church is not teaching you that. They make you think that, no, he chose them 12. They were special. Then he chose Paul. Then he chose Philip. No. Many are called. God so loved the world that, how many did he call? All. Wishing that none. You see, if you do not understand God, you will not understand the process, and you will falter on this journey to life. You will always find the state road coming to fill some pothole. And I got a pothole out there by my house. It seems like they fill it every week. When y'all gonna fix it? You see what I'm saying? When you gonna fix it? Quit filling it. Fix it. You come by here and it's just as solid as you want. You come by tomorrow and wheel about fall off your car. I'm on a journey. You must decide to let God make his reality known. This is the journey to go where no man has gone before. When found, it must remain a secret, for the unprepared soul cannot enter here. When you find God, don't jump up on the neon sign and jump in front of the spotlight talking about how you found it. But guess what? Just like the light at night that you turn on the front porch or the back porch, what does it do? It draws all them bugs, doesn't it? When you find God, you will draw unto you without even desiring to do so. You will draw unto you those that are seeking the light. That's why you don't go out and try to proselyte. You don't go out and try to fill up your church or bring them all in. Why? Because a lot of them come with ulterior motives. They come after things. They're not coming after the light. And Jesus is saying, if you seek me just for the light's sake, I will give you things. But if you seek me for things' sake, you're no better than the Gentile. And the church thought that calling a man a Gentile was bad. No, a Gentile is simply a person who is unenlightened. That's all. That's all he is, unenlightened. And he's seeking to live a material way of life. If that's what you want to live, if you want to live a material way of life, this message that I am preaching is not for you. Material things will be added to your life, but this message that I am teaching is the the uncovering of your identity. I am teaching you who you are, not what you need. This is not about praying and getting things, because the things will come and they will go. But I'm teaching you how to get the thing maker. I'm teaching you how to get to the source. Once you have the source, you don't ever have to worry about things. And I realize that the message comes across as sacrilegious as the way the church teaches it, because it's blasphemy. You're making yourself out to be the Son of God. Well, yes, I am. I get exactly what I'm doing. What authority do you have to do that? First, what is it, 2 John 3:2 or 3 John 3:2? Now, beloved, are we the sons of God? Oh. If any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Oh. That Christ might be formed in you permanently. Oh. Come on. This thing is about your identity. It's not about you being able to pay your rent. It's not about you getting a new car, praying for a husband or a wife. This is not what this is about. This is about you making a journey to light that you may behold the glory that was yours before the foundation of the world. What? I have no need. I don't need anything. If I think I need something, it's a better understanding of who I am in the tall order of things. And God is saying, I want you to understand who you are so much that I can send you. Oh, wow. You can send me. That's it. Because God's not going. Think about it. If God could go, don't you think he would have gone by now? He's sending us. But he can only send us because we understand who we are. And we will not deter from that journey. It's like the young prophet when he told the young prophet, I'm going to send you down to this city, and I have a message for you. Salute no man along the way. Don't talk to anybody. And when you get there, I want you to come back another way. And the old prophet found out about it and went over and told him, God got a message for you. What is the young prophet doing? He's saluting somebody, isn't he? He said, God got a message for you. He wants you to come over to my house. Well, he told me to go home another way. No, he altered that. Why didn't he tell me? See, that's what the young prophet should have said. Why didn't he tell me he was changing the rules? And no sooner than he went in and sat with the old prophet and revealed to him what God had told him to do, guess what the old prophet said? You have defied the works of the Lord, the glory of the Lord, and now you're going to pay. Oh, my goodness. Now I'm going to pay? Yep. Now you're going to pay. You see, once you understand that what God has given you is rich, and you cannot share it with the unprepared consciousness, but God knows what consciousness are prepared, and he will share it with them. The temple that you are is universal. Universal. How far does the universe stretch? That's where the temple is. It is not located in time or space, even though we can take microscopes and whatnot and look all out through the universe. We can't see it all, and it's even beyond that because we're only seeing the visible part of the universe. It's infinite. It's not defined by time or space. That's why you can be anywhere, at any time, any space, and be saved or delivered or prosperous. The kingdom of heaven is not demonstrable so as to mesmerize people. That's what draws them to your conventions, isn't it? But you may be given a convention to do such things that will, somewhat, it won't mesmerize them, but it will confirm to those who are seeking, and they will come into the seeking of the light. You are not trying to get them to follow you. Paul said, follow me as I follow Christ. So you are actually getting them to follow Christ. There is one universal life, and that universal life is ever expressing itself as that which is ever loving and overlooking itself. Once see the little nuggets that I bring out? If God were aware of you, then he's doing a pretty poor job of taking care of you with all of the things that you know you need. But he says, no, I'm not overlooking you. I'm overlooking myself. And you go, well, what's the difference? Well, I am that which is expressing itself as what you think is you, but I need you to understand that I am overlooking myself as you. Then you will begin to see the prosperity. But you will not see it as you see that you're somebody out here that I need to take care of. Because I'm God. I don't need to take care of anybody. I'm taking care of myself. Once you understand that myself is that which God is looking at, then you are taken care of. That's it. He who keeps his mind stayed on, see, on God will be kept at perfect peace. Well, if I keep my mind stayed on God, I'm looking at what God is looking at and what God is overlooking. But if I keep my man, I'm just suffering and I don't know what to do, and God's not paying any attention to that. Life is going to live on. It ain't going nowhere, okay? These bodies of ours might leave, but that life is God. It ain't going nowhere. And he wants us to know that we are that life. The journey then is a beholding of an infinite love that only God can express. The journey to light. We say it starts in the morning and it culminates in an evening, and then it starts again, but it doesn't. That sun in the sky never goes down. It just basically, things revolve around it. So that journey is a continuous going on. It's a journey to understanding, a journey to rest. God bless you.